Hello children, today we are going to discuss chapter 7, that is diversity in organisms. Why it is necessary to classify the living organisms? Living organisms have evolved on the earth over millions of years. There is a vast variety of living organisms. Living organisms show a wide range of variations. Some microscopic bacteria are a few of micrometers in size, and some, like whale and redwood trees, are about 30 meters and 100 meters in size. Some pine trees live for thousands of years, while insects like mosquito die within a few days. Some organisms are colorless, even transparent, and some are bright colored. So, to understand and study all these organisms, this is very impossible, very complicated also. If they are arranged into different groups based on their similarities in characteristic, then it is easy to study the different group as a whole. So, what is the classification of living organism? The arranging and arrangement of organisms into different groups on the basis of similarities in their characteristics, that is called classification of living organisms. What are the basis of classification of living organism? The main characteristics which are considered for classification of living organism into different groups are whether they are made of prokaryotic or eukaryotic cells, and the cells occur single or they are grouped together and live as a indivisible. They produce their own food by photosynthesis or get their food from outside. Organisms which produce their own food, then what is the level of organization of their body? In the case of animal, what is the level of organization of their body and what are their spatial organs and their functions? The characteristic used for classification of plant will be different from the characteristics used for the classification of animal, because plants make their own food and animals get their food from outside. That's why these plants are known as autotrophs and animals are known as heterotrophs. Now we will discuss classification and evolution. The present day complex living organisms have evolved from the earlier simple forms due to the changes in their body design over millions of years. The body designs of the living organism are gradually changing due to the changes in the environment and the need to adapt themselves to the changes in the environment. Some group of organisms having ancient body design have not changed much during evolution and have simple form and structure. These organisms are called primitive and lower organisms. Primitive means starting. Some organisms have acquired their body design relatively recently and have a complex forms and structure. These organisms are called advanced or higher organisms. Now the hierarchy of classification, that is groups. Living organism has been broadly classified into five main kingdoms. They are Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae, and Animalia. Each kingdom has been further classified into smaller subgroups at a various levels, like kingdom, then phylum, and class, order, family, genus, and species. By arranging organisms on the basis of hierarchy and characteristics into smaller and smaller group, we arrive at the basic unit of classification, that is known as species. So what is this species? Species is a group of organisms which are similar enough to breed and perpetuate. Now we will discuss the five kingdom classification of living organisms. organism is classified into two forms, that is prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Prokaryotes like Monera and eukaryotes can divide into two forms like unicellular means Protista and multicellular like without cell. In the unicellular, we can divide that in with cell. With cell will further divide into two forms like do not perform photosynthesis and able to perform photosynthesis. Do not perform photosynthesis means fungi and able to perform photosynthesis Plantae means plant. Now, without cell wall like Animalia, animals. So, this is the basic five kingdom classification of living organisms. Now we will discuss first Monera. They are mostly prokaryotic, unicellular and do not have definite nucleus. May or may not have cell wall. And the mode of nutrition is autotrophic, sometimes heterotrophic also. The example of Monera are bacteria, blue-green algae, cyanobacteria and mycoplasma. This is the diagram of bacteria. Cyanobacteria, both are different in shape. So in the case of bacteria, number of shapes are there. Blue-green algae, this is the structure of mycoplasma. Now we will discuss Protista. They are eukaryotic unicellular, mostly aquatic. Some have cilia or flagella which help them in moving, and the mode of nutrition may be sometime autotrophic, sometime heterotrophic. The example of the protista is algae, diatoms and protozoans. This is the structure of algae. This is the structure of diatoms. These are protozoans. Protozoans are the primitive organism and different type of examples are in protozoa like amoeba and paramecium. Now we will discuss about fungi. They are eukaryotic unicellular and sometimes multicellular also. They do not have chlorophyll and cannot prepare their own food and are heterotrophs. They use decaying organic matter as a food, so are called saprophytes. Some of them live in association with algae. They are called lichens. So when fungi lives with association with the algae, that time this combination is known as symbiosis. This process is known as symbiosis, in which both partners will give some benefit to each other. Here, fungi is unable to make food, so fungi depends on algae for food supply, and fungi will provide food, habitat as well as home to algae. Some examples of the fungi like yeast, asparagus, lichen, aspergillus and penicillium. Now we will discuss Plantae. Plantae means plants. They are multicellular eukaryotes having cell wall. They use chlorophyll for photosynthesis. All plants are included in this group. They are divided into five groups. They are Thallophyta, Bryophyta, Pteridophyta, Gymnosperms and Angiosperms. Next kingdom is Animalia. Animalia means animals. They include all organisms which are multicellular eukaryotes without chlorophyll and cell wall. They are heterotrophs. They are divided into 10 groups. These 10 groups are Porifera, Coelenterata, Platyhelminthes, Nematoda, Annelida, Orthopoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Protochordata, and Vertebrate. Now we will discuss the classification of Plantae. Plants are divided into 5 groups. They are Thallophyta, Bryophyta, Pteridophyta, Angiosperms, and Gymnosperms. First, we will discuss about the Thallophyta. In this group, the plants do not have well differentiated body parts. The plants are called algae. They are mostly aquatic, for example, Spirogyra, Eulothrix, Cladophora, and Cara. This is the structure of Spirogyra. This is the structure of Eulothrix. This is the structure of Cladophora. And this is the structure of Cara. Here one thing is common. What is that? The body is not differentiated according to well developed plant. Now we will discuss about the Bryophyta. In this group, the the plant has a body which is differentiated into stem and leaf-like structures. Only leaf and stem-like structures. But there are no specialized structure for the conduction of water and other substances from one part of the plant body to the other. These plants are called amphibians of the plant kingdom. Means these plants are available on land as well as these plants are available in water also. Example are moss, that is Funaria, Martensia, and Rixia. This is the example of moss. This is the structure of Martensia. This is the structure of Rixia. Body is not differentiated in other parts. Only leaf-like and stem-like structures are there. Now we will discuss about the Pteridophyte. In this group, the plant body is differentiated into root, stem, and leaves and has a vascular tissues for conduction of water and other substances from one part of the plant body to other. Example, ferns and Marsilia. This is the structure of fern. And this is the structure of Marsilia. So according to diagram, this is clear. Then body is differentiated into leaf, stem, and rooters. Now we will discuss about the gymnosperms. The plant of this group bear naked seed. Gymno means naked and sperma means seed. They are usually perennial, evergreen, and woody. Example are Pinus and Cycas. This is the structure of Pinus and this is the structure of Cycas. According to this, we can see this is the seed of the Pinus and this is naked. Any covering is not there on the seed. Next, we will discuss about the angiosperms. The plant of this group have a seed cover. Angio means cover and sperma means seed. So, they are also called flowering plants. The plant embryo in the seed have cotyledons. Cotyledons, when if we will divide the seed into two parts, then each part is known as cotyledon. Angiosperms are divided into two groups on the basis of number of cotyledons. If only single cotyledon, that is known as monocot. Example are rice, wheat, maize, etc. Now, green gram, peas, and tamarind, these plants, the seed of these plants have a cover. So, these type of the example of dicotyledons. Di means two. If we will divide the green gram, then easily we can divide it into two parts. And each part is known as cotyledon, and two cotyledons are there. That's why this is the example of dicot. Now we will discuss the classification of plants in detail. Plants do not have differentiated body as well as have a differentiated body. For example, Thallophyta, and here we can divide the differentiated body parts of the plant into two parts, that is without vascular tissue and with vascular tissue. Without vascular tissue, Bryophyta. With vascular tissue, we can differentiate into two parts, do not produce seed as well as produce seed. Do not produce seed, example Pteridophyta. Produce seeds, we can divide into two parts again, that is bare naked seed and bare covered seed. Bare naked seed, gymnosperms, and bare covered seed, angiosperms. Angiosperms we can divide again into two parts, that is one cotyledon known as monocot and two cotyledon known as dicot. Now we will discuss classification of animals, that is kingdom Animalia. Animals are divided into 10 groups. They are Porifera, Coelenterata, Platyhelminthes, Nematoda, Annelida, Orthopoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Protochordata, and Vertebrate. First, we will discuss about the Porifera. Porifera means sponges. They are aquatic, non-motile animals attached to some solid support. They have pores all over the body forming a canal system which help to circulate water and bring food and oxygen. They have a hard outer skeleton and do not have any tissue. Example, Spongilia, Cycon, and Euplectalia. This is the example of Spongilia. This is the example of Cycon. Now we will discuss the Coelenterata. They are aquatic animals. There is a cavity in the body that is known as coelom. Coelom is nothing, only the cavity. The body has two layers of cell, outer layer and an inner layer. So that's why these are known as diploblastic. Some live in colonies and some live in single form. Example are chlorels, hydra, jellyfish, and sea anemone. This is the structure of chlorels. This is the structure of jellyfish. And this is the structure of sea anemone. These all are the example of the Coelenterata. Now we will discuss about Platyhelminthes. Platyhelminthes means flat bones. They have flat body which is bilaterally symmetrical. Both right and left halves of the body is similar. They have three layers of the cell. That's why these are known as triploblastic. They do not have true body cavity. They may be free living or parasitic. Example are planaria, that is free living, liver fluke, tapeworm, these are parasites. This is the structure of planaria. This is the structure of liver fluke. This is the structure of tapeworm, that is tinea. In all these structures, one thing is common, that is bilaterally symmetrical. Now we will discuss about the nematodes. Nematoda. They have a cylindrical body. The body is bilaterally symmetrical and triploblastic. They do not have true body cavity. They have tissues but no real organ. They are parasites. Example, Ascaris, and Vaucheria. This is the structure of Ascaris, and this is the structure of Vaucheria. Now we will discuss about the Annelida. Their body is bilaterally symmetrical and triploblastic. They have true body cavity. Their body is segmented. Segments are there. And very good example is earthworm. There is a differentiation of the organism and they are found in water and on land. Example, earthworm, Nereis, and leech. This is the structure of earthworm. This is the structure of Nereis. And this is the structure of leech. These both are all are the examples of Annelida. Now we will discuss about the arthropods. They have a bilaterally symmetrical body. The body is segmented. They have an open circulatory system. The body cavity is filled with blood. They have joint leg. The meaning of word orthopod means joint leg. So this is the important feature of this phylum. The example are prawn, crab, cockroach, spider, scorpion, butterfly, housefly, and centipede. Now we will discuss about mollusca. They have a bilaterally symmetrical body. The coelomic cavity is reduced. There is a little segmentation. They have open circulatory system and kidney-like organs for excretion. They have feet for moving around. Example, snail, mussels, chiton, octopus. This is the structure of snail. This is the structure of mussel. This is the structure of chiton. And this is the structure of octopus. Now we will discuss about the Echinodermata. They have spiny skinned organisms. They are free living marine animals. They are triploblastic and have a coelomic cavity. They have water filled tube feet which help them in movement. They have hard skeleton made of calcium carbonate. The example of Echinodermata organisms are starfish, sea urchin, feather star, and sea cucumber. These are the examples of the Echinodermata. This is starfish, this is sea urchin, this is featherfish, feather star, and this is sea cucumber. Now we will discuss about the Protochordata. They have a bilaterally symmetrical and a triploblastic. They have a coelomic cavity. They have a notochord, which is long rod-like structures along its back to which muscles are attached and help them in movement. Example, Balanoglossus, Amphioxus, and Herdmania. This is the structure of Balanoglossus. And this is the structure of Herdmania. Now we will discuss about the vertebrata. Vertebrata means vertebrates. They have a vertebral column and internal skeleton. They have bilaterally symmetrical and are triploblastic body. They have coelomic cavity. Their body is differentiated into tissues and organs. Their body consists of four regions, that is head, neck, trunk, and tail. They have two pairs of fins or limbs. The respiration in aquatic forms is by gills and in land from respiration is by lungs. The sexes are separate. Vertebrates are grouped into five classes like species, amphibia, reptilia, aves, and mammals. First, we will discuss about the species. Species means fishes. They are fish living in water. Their skin is covered with scales or plates. They respire using special organ that is gills. They have streamlined body and fins which help them to move in water. They are cold-blooded and their heart has only two chambers. They are egg-laying animals from which the young ones hatch out. Some fishes have skeleton made of cartilage like shark and rays, etc. And some have skeleton made of bones and cartilage like a tuna and rohu. This is the structure of shark. This is the structure of tuna. This is electric ray. This is stingray. And this is rohu. These all are the example of species means fishes. Now we will discuss about the amphibians. They are found in land and water. They do not have scales but have a mucous gland on their skin. They are cold-blooded and the heart is three-chambered. Respiration is through gills or through lungs. They are egg-laying animals and they lay their egg in water. Example, frog, toads, and salamanders. This is frog, this is toad, and this is salamander. Next is reptilia. Reptilia as well as we can speak reptiles. They have a scales and breathe through lungs. They are cold-blooded. Most of them have a three-chambered heart, but in crocodile have a four-chambered heart. They lay eggs with hard covering in water. Examples are snake, turtles, lizard, and crocodile. Crocodile respires through lungs. Snake, lizard, turtle, flying lizard, crocodile. And for respiration, crocodile will use the air which is present in atmosphere. That's why between very short time they are coming outside on land. Aves means birds. They are warm-blooded animals. They have four-chambered heart. They breathe through lungs. They have an outer covering or feathers. Their two forelimbs are modified into wings for flying and they are egg-laying organisms. Examples are crow, sparrow, pigeon, duck, stork, and ostrich. This is the structure of crow, duck, sparrow, pigeon, stork, and ostrich. These all are the example of aves. Next is Mammalia and mammals. They are warm-blooded animals. They have four-chambered heart. They have a mammary glands for the production of milk to nourish their young ones. The skin has hair and sweat glands. Most of them give birth to their young ones. Some of them are egg-laying, like platypus and echinida. Example of mammal like cat, rat, dog, lion, tiger, whale, bat, and we humans. Next is nomenclature. What is this nomenclature? All living organisms have been given scientific names which can be used to identify them anywhere in the world. The system of scientific naming organisms is called binomial nomenclature. The binomial nomenclature consists two parts. First part of the name is genus and the second part of name is species. The system of scientific naming or nomenclature we use today was introduced by Carolus Linnaeus. For example, the scientific name of a human being is Homo sapiens. Homo is a genus and sapiens is a species. So whenever we are writing genus, that should start with capital letter. Whenever we are writing species, that should be with small letter. Homo is the name of genus and sapiens is the name of species. So, dear children, this is the explanation of the chapter, that is diversity in living organisms. Thank you.